Welcome to another episode of Meredyth with a Y. I am your host, Meredyth Willits, and today I have Natalie and Amy here, and they are lifelong friends and co-founders of Hopeful Purpose LLC and the creators of Cuddle. What started as a fundraiser to support Amy's bone marrow transplant has grown into a mission of comfort, healing, and purpose, and I got to benefit from this. So stay with us as we talk about all the good stuff. Hello, everyone. This is Meredyth with a Y, and I am your host, Meredyth Willits. Today, we are going to go deep, changing lives, and I am giving you the keys to the castle. Hello, ladies. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so excited to talk about Cuddle.
Hey, thanks for having us,
Thanks for having us, Meredyth. We're
so
excited.
excited.
So excited. And thank you so much for sending me a Cuddle pouch when I had my tummy tuck, because they give you these accoutrements. I had two of those pump things.
Yeah.
And then I had a pain pump. And all of this needs to go in the shower with me. And they're like, good luck. I don't know what you're going to do with that while you're trying to wash your body and your hair, but have fun with that shit. So thank you so much for sending that to me. Thank God Jen watches me, your friend, on social media, and she's like, oh, wait, Mayday. Here we go. So thank you.
Yeah.
It's
an incredible product. And having gone through leukemia and breast cancer and a brain tumor, my breast cancer was 8 surgeries. So the last one, I had 8 drains, 4 on each side. And we didn't have that product at that time. So I was wearing a lanyard with 8 JP drains. You know, if those of you who don't know what a Jackson Pratt drain is, it's used in surgery. It's a bulb that collects the fluid that's inside your body with this long plastic strap.
Under your skin,
where your breasts or your whatever you've had done, tummy tuck, have been removed. They drain this so you don't develop a bigger cyst or anything that occurs. So it's vital. It's vital to recovery. And
Amy's a nurse now. So she went through her whole leukemia thing and then has been giving back with nursing. So it was nice to be able to help somebody, and now she can help other people, you know?
Yeah. So Amy, raise your hand. Patient numero uno.
Yeah.
And then Natalie, you are the friend of.
Yes.
And you two have been friends for
41 years.
Just a mere 41 years. And Amy, you started this journey with a diagnosis when and what?
So in 1987, I was diagnosed with T-cell leukemia. I was misdiagnosed by my family doctor for almost 3 months. So it was pretty far advanced. And I spent 6 months straight at Children's with complications. I cardiac arrested. I died. I saw the bright light. I saw all of my friends, these friends, older, walking down a hallway. And I'm sorry if I get emotional. And they were grown. And I was like, I want to see them. I want to be with them. And it's a miracle. And I call all of them my guardian angels.
Because they were like, P.S. If you check out, we're still having fun. So you might want to come back. Do not go to the light, Carol Ann.
That was it. I'm crazy. I like to have fun, and I drive them all crazy. They make me sit in the car sometimes.
Just a little.
But when I had my breast cancer is when Natalie, do you want to tell them what happened in the room?
Well, she needed a surgery buddy. So when she woke up from her double radical mastectomy, then I was in the room, and the nurse encouraged her to get up and use the bathroom. And like, she had all these drains, like octopus arms coming out. And it took us both to help her get out of the bed and walk her to the bathroom. And she was walking past the door, and one of her drains caught on the door and like stopped her in her tracks. And she was so woozy, but even through all the drug haze, she was like, and it was terrible. And she had a terrible scar even now. And I got really mad, and I looked at the nurse and I go, don't you have anything for these? And she was like, well, we've got, the lanyard. And she kind of points to the giant safety pins hanging from the lanyard.
Yep.
And I said, no, something to keep it safe. And she said, no, I wish. And so I stayed with AIM like probably a week and helped her with the drains. And she still had to navigate the house and, go through the kitchen with all those landmines of like cabinet hooks or cabinet knobs and doorknobs and showers and
sleeping,
getting wrapped up in your sheets. And so I went home and I cut up my husband's t-shirt and I got out my grandma's sewing machine and I made the first Cuddle pouch and sent it to her. And there's been so many tweaks to it since. And now we're making it, it's disposable. So it's made of, polypropylene and waterproof. Yeah. You can sweat in it, spill in it, shower in it.
Meredyth, do you mind if I show you? I'm actually wearing it. As an example. And what I like to do, if you guys can see this, if you can see this, this is what I tell patients now. There's other things you can put on here if you don't have multiple drains. I use my 4 on the right with Natalie's t-shirt she made. I used the 4 on the left for that. But I carried my phone. You carry your phone, Kleenex. This is my favorite thing. You guys can see this. It's just made of Velcro, wraps around the waist, my phone, and a note and a pen for the doctor. So when the doctor comes in, if you're going to a follow-up visit, I'm writing things down.
Yeah.
So you're not having to carry any additional weight because honestly, the Jackson Pratt, when they fill, they're heavy, right?
Yeah.
So it really is something that not only was created out of my 28 surgeries and love. And look at her. Anyway, we're best friends. And for her to do this was monumental.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's
a game changer. So mad, I was like, why don't people have something to keep them safe? And the funny thing is when you're open about something, and I've talked to now so many people who have gone through tummy tucks like you, some thoracic heart surgeries have gotten different the JP drain surgeries, stomach surgeries. I mean, one guy had a stomach surgery and he had an infection. He had to drain for like 3 months.
Yeah.
He had to go to work with it in his pocket. So, I'm like, it just makes sense to make sure that it's a temporary issue. Even if it's 3 months, you eventually get them taken out, and to have a temporary solution, is really a wonderful thing to have. People have said that they've gotten theirs stuck in the lazy boy, the mechanics of a lazy boy. They've gotten them caught in car doors.
Like literally my arms are falling off thinking of these things, because when you have one of these, it's like
emergency department. That's what we see them partially pulled out.
Yeah.
Where this whole white part is in your body, we'll see it pulled out to here from a car door and that's a good opportunity to explain the dignity that you feel. When I walked around with 8 drains, and Natalie, we're talking about this, leaving Northwestern.
In her wheelchair with the drains dangling from the IV poles.
That's the other thing too. Like, no offense, but it's like you're trying to do any of this shit with dignity, and you've got like your innards on your outards, and you're like, this is coming from my body. And P.S. You don't want, I'm sorry, but I don't need everyone and their brother to see what my goo looks like. Like, I want this kind of packaged in and hidden. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to talk about my shower experience, but I don't want you to see my goo.
Mm-hmm.
It's traumatizing to some people. It's triggering. It needs to, it's not like you're a gross person, but at the same time, children are like, what the hell is that?
That's how it was.
Yeah.
That's how it was. Yeah. Yeah. I literally, the dignity that you feel, the lack of dignity that you feel with the lanyard and all of those bulbs, and being an ER nurse for 22 years and understanding surgery, I've had 28, like I mentioned, it is just a matter of feeling normal in a very unnormal time. That's yeah.
Well, and my thing, so like when I went in, you have to wear the binder, right? I had to wear the binder around my waist. And so everything's safety pinned to that, right? Mm-hmm. Like this is the 2025 solution.
Yes.
It's safety pins and a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm getting in the shower, and I mean, what am I supposed to do? Like, what am I supposed to do with this binder that's got all this shit safety pin to it, right? And P.S. So everyone that's listening, if you don't know, is these are the bulbs, and all these tubes go from my pubic area all the way up to my ribs,
Yep.
inside of my body,
Yep.
and it's sutured to my
Skin.
lower stomach. Okay, so we've got sutures and tubes, and it's going up my stomach, right? And so, like, a hope and a prayer is keeping this shit from falling out if I drop it. And P.S. wash your hair. And P.S. take a shower. Blah blah. Right.
Clean.
And
Yeah.
so to alleviate this, my husband is holding the binder
Yes.
out the shower,
Yep.
and so now I'm like, I have to turn, but I can't turn because I have to get out of the water. So then he has to reach over. Now he's wet. I'm wet. The binder is going to be in fear of getting wet, which I have to P.S. also put back on. How is it 2025 and this is what life looks like? And I tell people, if you're going to get a tummy tuck, ... or any surgery, plan on being out of commission. Plan on 100% help. You cannot feed yourself. You cannot shower. Everything's a pain in the ass because of where we're at in the medical world. Then you guys send me this pouch waistband from heaven, right? I can get all my shit in there.
Right.
Jim doesn't have to like accompany me like I'm a crazy person to the shower. He can go about his business. The whole situation can come into the shower with me instead of keeping it from getting wet because now I have to put it back on. And what I did with it, for me personally, is I hung it from the shower turner-oner thing because then that like kind of like removed it from me. But it was all in one place inside the pouches, hanging from the thing because I didn't want it on around my neck. I wanted it a little bit. So that was also incredibly helpful, was having a way to place it off of me.
To set them somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes.
And you want them draining. So that's the whole thing. You want it in an area where you know that it's working and draining.
Right.
But to take off the pouch itself sometimes and hook it on like the armchair, it's nice to do. You know, if you're sitting in a chair that has arms. But
yeah, you were so blessed with your family taking care of you. And, you know, for Amy, I mean, she was single at the time. And, you know, when her mom wasn't there and, you know, friends were in and out, like she had to navigate that house by herself. And it's just crazy, like, you know, just going to make yourself a cup of tea, how that could end up being a huge accident.
I actually had one of the large safety pins. I was sleeping. I rolled, it opened, and got me in the arm.
Ow.
So that's when I was like, something's got to give. And I mean, I work for wonderful hospitals. I just don't think if we had something post-operatively that a patient comes in to PACU in, you know, the post-anesthesia recovery, and they put that on right away. You could see drainage, they can label it. This is what's nice. You can label, you know, these, you can put them in order how you want them, but to leave is difficult.
Leave the hospital with difficult. It on. And that is my push, is to get this into the hospitals, into the surgery centers. So, because there are so many just day surgeries. You know, one of the ladies, she bought a pouch. She got a double mastectomy in one day and was home that night. And so that gap that between, you know, you're going home, and most of us we don't have best friends who are nurses who can help you, who've been through the whole thing. Yeah. You know, you're going home to people who are really terrified at the sight of blood, especially having their loved one being so groggy and having gone through it. So to fill that gap between the hospital and, you know, like that post-surgery and home it's a real passion of mine to be able to, I mean, getting a mastectomy or just being diagnosed with cancer. But I mean, that's got to be one of the lowest points after your mastectomy, like the dignity piece.
You lose a sense of who you are as a woman. And I think that like I said, I had wonderful, wonderful doctors, but I think a lot of people that I've talked to, you know, about their cancers, no matter what cancer it is, I'll get calls, and people don't realize, and I don't think being a nurse for as long as I didn't realize it until it happened to me. When I got the triple negative, breast cancer, I was more so upset that I was losing my, everything and being replaced with a lanyard with a bunch of bulbs because I didn't have, they put the spacers in, it was like, no, I can't do this like this, so it's like I said, dignity, but it's a matter of freedom and understanding that you're in control. I'm in control. I can put these where I want them. I don't have to let everybody know that I don't have my breasts anymore, because it's sitting, the lanyard was right there. So
yeah. And that's one thing. So I had breast cancer 5-6 years ago now, but I didn't have to have the bulbs or anything. It was just a lumpectomy. And then like how I say that, it was just a lumpectomy. It was just two lumpectomy surgeries and 4 weeks of radiation, but we do just, right? Like we just, and one thing I will say for our medical society, and in Hinsdale, we do have the Wellness Center, which is 100% free about nutrition and mental health and family therapy, which most places do not have. However, going through it, I was so focused on getting through it. I wasn't really recognizing that there was a mental effect, a mental health effect on it. And one of the takeaways, and I'm going to talk to you guys about this because you seem kind of healthfully enmeshed or whatever we want to call it, is I was afraid to say anything was ever wrong with me or that I needed anything. And then my husband was afraid to say that anything was wrong with him or that he needed anything, because if I said, oh, I'm in a lot of pain or I'm scared, and then he would feel sorry, and then I had to make him feel better for my sadness.
And that's just it. For me,
right?
It was so much harder to watch my loved ones watch me go through it.
Yes.
And watch them struggle to find a way to help than it was for me knowing my body and knowing what was happening. And
right. Like it's like you literally, you're going through it. You're having your shit cut off with bulbs everywhere. And you're over there carrying all your friends' emotions going, I don't want them to be sad. So because if I'm sad and then I have to make them feel better about my sadness, it is the biggest cluster F in the entire planet.
It is.
No, and I will tell you, not one time do I remember anyone saying, you have to go get therapy. You and your family have to go through this because you have no idea. And it was a while afterwards. And I said to my husband, I go, I think the hardest part about, I got it.
Mastectomy? Breast cancer?
I think the hardest thing about going through this was that you never cried. And he said, I cried every day in the car.
Yeah.
And I said, I would have given anything to have seen that. But everyone's running around being okay
for you, and I glossing it over with, and trying to help. And I think that's probably what was behind the pouch for me, is because as a friend, you feel so helpless. I mean, it's horrible. And actually that, for me, having gone through it before with her with leukemia, and as a 16, 17-year-old girl, trying to choose between, do I drive up to Chicago and visit my friend in the hospital? Yeah. Or, it was really never a hard choice. Or do you just, be a kid? And we always went up to the hospital, and all of the people around, it was such a difficult situation as children, that when she got sick again, it was almost like 20 years after your remission from leukemia.
Yes.
She found out she had breast cancer. And it was like, boom, like, whoa, wait, what? And so again, being in the hospital, and, this time it's different because I'm married, living in another state with my own little kids, and, coming in and being like, okay, what do I do? How do I help? And then you're trying to help her to the John, and then she gets hurt all over again.
It was like a fish hook.
It was just like, yeah. And so I think that's probably what is difficult for us watching you guys go through that kind of stuff, is because you feel so helpless.
But don't you think that
about it in front of them?
But don't you think that this cuddle was the answer to that? I mean, like that is
it was my
like
aha moment. It was my aha moment.
Yeah, like it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We're going to do something here. We're going to, and like, isn't that where all so many, you know, inventions and foundations and all of these things are from, is the seed of needing to help and feel like purpose and that you're making a difference and like to show that love, because it's like the words are never enough. There's never enough meals. There's never enough like holding of hands.
Yeah.
It's just such a helpless place to exist inside of. So when you made that first husband t-shirt Cuddle and you watched Amy use it, or she told you it worked, like, thank God, thank you for making this. When did all of a sudden the light bulb go off and say, we need to make 1 million of these and everyone needs to have one, and we need to figure out, like, when do we make this actually a product instead of just something for a friend?
Well,
Nope, they froze. Stand by. They're busy freezing. We might have to kick them out and bring them back as I ask. Let's see here. We will remove them and then let them come back because it seems like they're lost. Okay. We're removing them and we will bring them back because their internet or Wi-Fi froze. But, you know, I think that here they come. They're back and they're back. Hopefully. Now it's dark. Don't you just love live? I would say live television. We'll call it live TV. We'll be cool about that. Let's see. Maybe there we go. Yeah, because I want to know how many times do we all have ideas, but then do we actually make that into a product? Do we actually make that into a business or a company or whatever? 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say not so much. But if they didn't, then there's going to be so many people that are still going to be running around using, you know, this lanyard like Amy's talking about, or using their waist squeezy thing with safety pins, which is insanity. If you guys saw these safety pins, you would literally freak out because they are so huge and scary and worthless, but they're what you need them to be. And PS, all the while, you've got these tubes hanging out of you that are sutured to your skin so that every single time you move or adjust or stand or roll over or put on clothes, it's pulling, it's dragging, it's painful. It's beyond annoying. So the fact that she came up with a product and noticed, and I'm wondering if she would have had 2 of those tubes, if it would have been like, oh, we need a product here, or if it's because of the fact that there was 8 of them. So there's got to be something, like I always say that everything has a purpose. Everything is done for a reason. So it's like you have to look at Amy's trial and tribulation, and I'm not saying that it wasn't difficult what Amy went through, but at the same time, how do we find the blessing inside of the pain? And so when I'm looking at the fact that she had 8 tubes coming out of her instead of 2, was it the dramaticness of the 8 and the insanity of these 8 tubes coming out that made it say, holy shit, like, we need to make something for her because this is just not working out. Unfortunately, they're still not back. I'm texting my friend to see if telling them to come back. So hopefully they will. Because I'm so excited to have them on and share their story. I wonder if their Wi-Fi went down. I'm not sure if they were on a Wi-Fi situation or a telephone. Maybe I'll give them a call. You gotta love stuff like this where you just gotta like let it happen.
We're trying to come back. I don't know what happened.
That's okay. You guys just froze. I'm still on. So like when you guys can make it back on, I'm here.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Try it.
Bye. They're trying to get back on. But it is wild that, so many people like Natalie having a friend going through cancer, leukemia at a young age, and then breast cancer 20 years later, you lose track, or like a lot of people are selfish and are like, hey, I'm sorry you have cancer. Here's some flowers, right? Or I'll send a gift card or a meal. But the fact that she remained so a part of Amy's life to the point where she recognized this incredible need that is now reaching so many people. And if you're watching or if you're listening, she's selling these. We're going to talk about where you can buy them. I brought a package of it to my plastic surgeon and showed it to her. And I was like, hey, look at this thing. It's amazing. And I'm sure she looked at it for 4 seconds. Maybe she gave it to an office manager. Maybe she threw it in the garbage. But I'm here to tell you, as a physician, as an office manager, as a post-care nurse, etc., your job does not end, in my opinion, when your patient leaves the operating room. Like it's imperative for that person's mental health and their ability to heal in a good way that they have what is needed. And this system, even if you were just to give your patient one of them, like with mine, with my surgery, I purchased scar tape with it. What was the other thing that I got? Arnica came with it. There's so many things that come with you're prepaying for these situations that they could figure out a way to work in. And then if you use it, great. If you don't use it, great. If you want to buy more on Amazon, great. But at least you're introduced to it, because I know so many people that would, like, I don't know, not even realize that it was a thing and then struggle or suffer, especially if you're going home by yourself. You're not going to have someone to hold your tubes or your pain pump or your whatever while you shower. And even like thinking of this now, even if you don't have a pain pump, even if you don't have one of these pumpy things that like get that out of you, what's it called? The Let me see here. Let me send this to them. There's so many other things that a person could have that they need to hold it into. There's breathing that people use for like, what is that called? When you can't breathe, for like asthma, for diabetes. There's a million different things that people need. I don't know why I see them, but they're, let's see here. They're like sort of there, that need to have some sort of, equipment, if you will, that they need to hold while they're taking a shower or while they're sleeping or while they're walking around. And they don't want it just hanging from their neck, because it is embarrassing. Like even with my own kids, like I had these crazy ass tubes and these crazy ass bulbs hanging around. Like it's like, mom, what do you got going on there? Like it's a lot to see the inner goo, if you will, um on a person walking around a mall or having to go to Walgreens or whatever, grocery shopping, and you've got these pumps and this, that, and the other. And the beauty of this is that it's made out of this material, and if they come back, I'll have them talk about it. It's made out of this material that, like, when it gets wet, it's not getting heavy. And like you can put it around your neck, you can put it around your waist. It's with Velcro. I Velcroed it together to each other. And like I said, I just hung it on the shower nozzle, the turner-oner thing. That's the technical term, by the way, the turner-oner thing. I stuck it to that, and that's how I held it, because I didn't want it on me while I was showering and like soaping up and stuff like that. It just makes you feel, I don't know, like you're getting yourself cleaner or whatever without everything attached to you. It looks like they said they were coming back. Oh, I called her there. I don't know. Oh, that's right. So hopefully I resent them the link. They're going to be so upset, and I know it. But yeah, this Cuddle equipment is life-changing, and I think they need to start thinking, like, even for the faja, right? Like, I was supposed to use a faja, which is like a waist trainer, if you will. You're supposed to use that after a tummy tuck. Well, I've had the darndest time finding one that fits me correctly. And I will say, my doctor said she's like, we'll get you sized up for a faja and all that. That never happened. You know, this multi-$1,000 surgery later, and I'm, ordering stuff off of TikTok Shop and Amazon and this, that, and the other to try to get it to go from under, by my ribs all the way up to all the way down like it needs to. And so it's just been like crazy that after I leave my surgery, after I pay my amount of money, that it's kind of the ball was dropped, so to speak. So it looks like they're back. It's a little staccato over where they're at. I'm not sure if their Wi-Fi is wacko, which is very possible because it's hot today. So I think sometimes when it's hot, we have crazy Wi-Fi situations. So I've just been basically talking about my experience with the Cuddle and how, like, so many doctors just leave you in the lurch after you get off their operating table. So I don't remember the question I asked you. Oh, how did you, Natalie? I don't know, Natalie and Amy. I hope you guys can hear me. How did you decide to turn this into a
Can you hear
business?
us?
I can. Yep. They're spinning again. We need to talk to Miss Coffee about her Wi-Fi situation over there. They should just go on their phone. Of course, they wanted to do everything perfectly. And it's, of course, a mess. And they're gone again. What do they call that? Best laid plans. Like they invited all their friends to watch. They're so cute. They like promoted it so well. They came all the way here from God knows where. I know the ones from this down south, and came all the way up to the area to record with their friends. Just to lose Wi-Fi. But yeah, through, what is it? Invention, necessity is the mother of invention, right? And there was a necessity. Poor Amy had all these dang tubes hanging out of her and hurt herself where she's still scarred. And Natalie saw a need and made it happen. And like, that is what life's about, is see.
I mean,
You're
we switched places too.
Oh, that's perfect.
We switched places.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
You're
we
fine.
lost
So-
connectivity.
You're good. So what I was asking you before the debacle is, when did it turn from, oh, she needs something? I was talking when you guys were gone about the fact that if she would have only had 8 or 2 bulbs.
Yeah.
But the fact that she had 8, like, there's purpose in that. There's a blessing in that, because without the 8, you probably would not have seen a need. You would have been like, this is fine, it's manageable, yada. But because it was 8, it was so overwhelming that it's like, okay, we need to change something here because she got hurt. So like, Amy is like this walking, talking creator of necessity by way of the insanity. But when does it come from like a t-shirt to like, holy shit, we need to make this as a business?
Yeah. So, sorry, I'll just kind of go back. So when we were kids with her leukemia, she found out that a life-saving procedure would be a bone marrow transplant. And they said that those cost about $300,000. So the girls, all of our best friends, their parents, our parents, we all raised, and like, this is prior internet. This is
4
prior
months.
GoFundMe.
4 months.
And we went out, we like made jars and took them to Baskin Robbins and TCBY and like asked people for money for the Amy Seratt Fund. And we did. We raised $300,000 for her bone marrow, which fast forward, she never needed. And she's been able to actually help other people with that money.
Yeah. Other kids with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
One of the children that was initially helped was one of my good friends who was actually a nurse I worked with, and her daughter needed medication that wasn't covered for her cancer. And it was, I can't remember the exact amount, but it was almost $11,000 or something a month. And these guys created another miracle, and she's walking, enjoying life, and
she's like graduating
high
school or
school.
something.
So it really is something that I can tell you, these guys, they stood on the train station every day before work, got money.
We did.
Yeah.
But so that money was not raised for the Cuddle. So then fast forward when, the 20 years ago, or anyway, when we did the Cuddle, she used it. I thought it was so great. You actually had another friend who had a mastectomy, and it just became like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And so just, God is just so good. I was on the phone with
Amy's like, you need something else? I'll volunteer for that pincushion moment. Like, poor Amy. All the good coming from it, but at the same time, poor Amy. Jeez, Whiz. Oh no, they're frozen. How? How are they frozen still? That's impossible. No. The insanity. I just told their friend that I was texting with. I'm like, it looks great. And then it froze again. Poor Amy and Natalie. I might have to have them come back and do it again. Because they're not even able to share their story. Their sweet friends are like, I'm still with you. I'm like, oh no, you're so sweet. 9 people are watching, and they've had invited all these amazing people. How do you raise $300,000 in 4 months? Like, that is tenacity. I mean, I know people that like spend an entire year raising money, and they only raise 100,000. How in the hell do you raise $300,000 in 4 months? That's like literally insanity. That is crazy amounts of money. I know, like in this town, especially, there's a lot of money and they have a lot of fundraising. I don't think they reached $300,000 in 4 months. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And the crazy thing is, Amy has dealt with cancer 3 times now and is still like going strong and still showing up. And they're still amazing friends. Like how does that, like, I don't know. That is like some like life packed life, that's crazy, amazing. But let's see, time to use cell service. But yeah, like $300,000, and then to create, and then she's also a nurse. Like, how is she a nurse on top of all of that? Like, I would be, but I will say, like, one of my kids was very ill growing up, and I didn't go back to school to be a nurse, but I definitely got into the healing field and wanting to get back and figure out and help people and all of these things. So I guess, it does come full circle where you become interested in healing and helping people. But like she was saying, Amy was saying she had triple negative breast cancer. Like, that's one of the most like crazy difficult breast cancers to live through. And I will say, from personal experience of people that I know, her having the radical double mastectomy was probably the best idea that she had, because honestly, I had what do you call that? Estrogen positive. And it had not gone into my lymph nodes. And like I always say, I have gold star breast cancer. The phone was breaking up too much. Oh. We couldn't hear. They're having issues. I will say that the house that they are in has a ton of trees around it. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I have good Wi-Fi here, so I'm not sure. They're going to try again from the phone, so we'll try to bring them back because I want to make sure that we get this pouch into hospitals and into care packages. I went. A friend of mine has cancer and is going through treatment. And I went on, I think it was Etsy or Amazon, and it was like a cancer care package. And it was like a cup with a straw and a blanket. And it's like, most people have blankets and cups. But this Cuddle thing, if you're going to have drains, if you're going to have pain pouches, if you're going to have anything of the like we need to figure out a way to get Amazon to include these, or Amazon sellers or Etsy sellers to include these Cuddle pouches into their focus of these cancer baskets or get well packages. Because a lot of times you do have these accoutrements that are attached to you and you have nowhere to put them. And it's so exhausting. People don't realize, I don't think, when you leave the hospital and your surgery's done, that's actually the beginning of healing. That's the beginning of the journey, if you will, of this new existence. And that new existence can be like a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple years. It could be a couple decades, but you're never the same person. And it doesn't matter if it's an elective surgery, if it's a non-elective surgery, if it's a life-saving surgery, meaning if you don't have this, you will die. And I actually had a conversation recently with a trans woman, and she said she was going to have surgery. And I was just like, oh, I hope that it's not life altering or something like that. And she said, all gender affirming care is life saving. And God, did that throw me in my seat. I was like, wow, I never thought of it like that, but it's so true. And so it doesn't matter what kind of surgery you have, it will change you. And it really is powerful and it is profound. And, I look at life as, once you're the person that's never eaten sushi and then you try sushi and now you've eaten sushi, you're a different person. I don't care. Before you have cancer and then you have cancer and then after you have cancer, you're a different person. And so it's the beginning of a healing journey. And something like the Cuddle is so incredibly helpful so that you can work on the emotional, you can work on the pain, you can work on healing instead of working on how do I take a shower? How do I go to a grocery store with these accoutrements? You can focus on the other things instead. And that is incredibly powerful. Saying that StreamYard is not working. Not really sure why that is. I wonder what that even means. How is it not working? It's streaming for me. Maybe what I need to do is redo this tomorrow. Wonder if they'll be there tomorrow. Because I feel bad. Like I've literally been talking the majority of the time and they haven't. So maybe we redo this so that they can actually be on the recording together. And even if we have them zooming in from their actual houses, that might be what we need to do, unfortunately. Because if I close out, then we're closed out. We are closed out if I do that. So, and I don't see them coming back right now. So we might just have to reschedule so that they can get their voices heard, because we definitely want to hear from them because they do have an incredible story. So I am going to, at least on the live version for Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, I'm going to say thank you guys so much for being here and for your patience. Because even if we bring them back, it looks like they're here. We'll see if we can get them on 15 minutes. I don't know if that's going to really do them any good. Let's see. I see them there. Let's see if we can get them on stage. I cannot imagine the shit show that's going on over at the household. Um, I was just like, I don't know if it makes sense if we reschedule and try to get you guys back another day so that we can do this, if we have to do it from like streaming from your own houses, because it's still very
Let's do
staccato.
that. Let's, because we can say to be continued, but we apologize. I felt like the gerbil on the wheel got, and we had to go feed it. But no, I'm sorry. I mean,
No worries at
I'm
all. I
so
just want to make sure
sorry.
that people
Or,
can hear
we
your
can
amazing
reschedule
story and
something.
your voices, and not just me rambling on, because I know you had a lot of friends
Yes.
and supporters that want to hear from you. But I say we reconvene. We'll leave this on the live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And then for the podcast version, we'll come back, we'll re-record with you guys each at your own separate houses, and so on and so forth. And tell Jen she's got to trim those trees. Maybe her Wi-Fi is just a little laggy with all those trees around that house of hers. It is what it is.
I could sing a song. I could sing a song.
We could do improv.
We could. Hopeful purpose is
Oh,
to
good.
allow freedom. Yeah. Okay. Good. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Allow that freedom of going out to dinner, going out places where people are, like I mentioned, it's under your clothes. It's great. It's comfortable. And the biggest thing I think, and especially being a nurse, I see the need. I see the need for some make people feel, I'm not going to say better, but more normal like before.
More secure.
It's hard. Your whole, you made a great point, Matt. Your whole psychological, it changes. Your whole psychological being changes. A, am I going to live? B, what is this going to look like? No idea. And, a lot of women are afraid, with any surgery, tummy tucks, you have anything that alters your body, internal, external, it's a huge, huge undergoing. You're doing things that you have to do to get better, but you have these dreams and sitting there, and I just want people to know it's a wonderful thing. And I'm glad that Natalie thought of it. And I think that it's something that really would help patients heal faster too.
Yes, but let me just tell you, so after we used it and on a couple of different people, and they loved it so much, I was on the phone with one of my girlfriends I talked with, and yeah, and I started.
It's breaking up so bad, you guys. I'm so sorry. We have to we're going to have to re-record another day. There's just, it's just breaking up. I will, we will re-figure this out and get you guys back on very, very soon, like maybe even next week, just because I don't want anyone to miss a word, to be perfectly honest with you. Where, just so we can have it on this recording for at least today, where can someone get a Cuddle? Is it available on Amazon? Is there a website? And if I can't even get you to answer, then we can put it in the show notes at least, or on those 3 places. Yep, they already froze. All right, guys, we will have to reconvene this next week. For all of you that stuck with me in my rambling for the last 40 minutes, I so appreciate your patience. I was trying so hard to keep them and get them back in. It just didn't work out, and I want to make sure that their voices and their story is properly heard. Not sure what is going on over there. The Wi-Fi must be just brutal, but I appreciate y'all that have stuck with us for the last hour. We will do this again, so you're going to have to come back and join me. So we'll bring Natalie and Amy back, and we will get the whole story about the Cuddle and all the good things. So I'll see you guys here next time.